metal faithful, it is I, your mandated reporter, and frankly I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich, and this is the Metal Hammer of Doom. Tonight we are reviewing Unleash the Archers, Abyss. Unleash the Archers are a Canadian power metal band from Victoria, British Columbia, and they are currently signed with Napalm Records. They play a fusion of traditional heavy metal with power metal and melodic death metal. And on this album, I heard a little bit of the Dragon Force. We'll talk all about that momentarily. Joining me tonight, this was his pick actually, so he's going to carry the ball. I'm just going to sit here and press buttons. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother from another mother, my hetero life mate, good to his mother, Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Mark Radulich. I am excited. So I thought prior to this, back in 2017, I thought that you were part of the review of Apex, and then as I scanned and listened to the re-air of the 2017 Metal Hammer of Doom coverage for this for Apex, I don't think you were there. It's just me and Coop.
Yeah, it might have been one of my hiatuses.
Well, 2.5 hours, buddy. 2 hours and 23 minutes, if I remember correctly. I don't know what in the world we had to talk about. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just know I scanned through it and was like, where's Mark at? Oh, that's right. He probably wasn't on here. But yeah, it has been 3 years in the making, and I have been excited and chomping at the bit to find out how this album was going to, just what was going to happen in the album. Apex, just real quick to kind of give you an idea where we're coming from going into Abyss. Apex was a concept album, came out, like I said, in 2017, and it showcased a story about the Immortal. And I'll go into detail about that, Mark. I don't know if you have some stuff you want to get out of the way here first, talking about some of the stats or the wiki stuff. Just
that Abyss is their 5th studio album. There's no wiki to the album itself, so I don't know what singles. I guess I have it right here. Abyss, Soulbound, and Faster Than Light were their video/singles that they released for this album.
Yeah, Faster Than Light just released, I think it was Monday, and it's pretty funny too. All 3 videos are great. I've watched all 3 of them, and fantastic few singles that they've released. So. Yeah, Mark, me and you, we've talked concept albums before. Apex was probably and may probably be one of the first albums that I know it's definitely the first album I listened to, Unleash the Archers. But it was one of the more compelling concept albums that I'd ever heard. Real quick, I'll read what my synopsis here. It's almost like doing source material, Mark. This is the story of Apex. All right, so here we go. Settle in, Mark. Grab yourself a warm glass of milk.
Ugh.
Okay, don't do that. An evil queen called the Matriarch
I will fall asleep on you.
Oh, no, this is just, I got a small little paragraph, only like two couple of minutes here. An evil queen called the Matriarch, with hopes of completing a ritual to achieve immortality, finds a way to awaken the Immortal, a powerful being cursed to do the bidding of those that summon him, and tasks him with gathering her 4 sons and bringing them to her before the planets align. To hasten his resolve, she tells him that when the task is completed, she will free him of his curse. So it's kind of like a genie. You know, you wake the genie and you get your 3 wishes. Well, her thing is she's trying to achieve immortality here. So even though the Matriarch's plan is to kill each one of her sons for the ritual, the Immortal is compelled to do what she wishes, even though he kind of doesn't want to. A good portion of the album is about the Immortal confronting each of her sons. 3 of them have lived their lives following in their evil mother's footsteps, and the Immortal has no qualms bringing them to their death. But with the 4th son, the Immortal sees he has lived a just life and has become a simple family man. The Immortal befriends the son and feels he doesn't deserve the same fate as his brothers. However, his curse compels him to bring the son to the Matriarch anyway, and the son goes willingly, knowing what awaits him. The ritual complete, the Immortal waits to be freed of his curse. However, the matriarch betrays him, sending him back to sleep in his mountain abode just in case she ever needs to use the immortal as her weapon again sometime in the future. So that was how Apex went down. It told you this story about this guy who gets summoned by this evil lady and says, go out and do my bidding. We follow him throughout the whole album as he's like he's killing people because there's one guy who just sends like an army after him, and he lays waste to him, grabs the son anyway. So anyway, you feel sorry for the guy because he's got to do these things and he doesn't really want to do them. And then when he finds the fourth son, you're like, oh man, he befriends this guy, he makes friends with him, and then he's got to turn around and get him killed anyway. And then at the end, it was really like sad. The immortal just kind of goes back into his cave and goes back to sleep. And you're like, oh, man, this is a depressing album. Well, folks, 3 years later, 2020, here comes Abyss to continue the story. So, Mark, whenever you're ready, man, we'll do the medleys and we'll get into it.
All right, here we go. We're going to do these 3 songs at a time because I'm a little sleepy tonight. So we got Waking the Dream, Abyss, and Through Stars. Here we go. I like that last one. It actually sounds like a song.
Okay.
I mean, the first one's like an intro track. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds long, and it takes forever to get going. The second one's kind of a continuation of that. You know, it's traditional power metal. It sounds fine. But that last one had kind of a disco flavor to it, which I kind of liked.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about the direction this album has taken. A lot of people, well, wouldn't say it's polarizing, but there's a lot of people that don't like the lighter fare with the synths in there. Mm-hmm. They want some more heavy Unleash the Archers that they're kind of used to. And I think that what they're using that for is obviously it's the vehicle to tell the story.
Right.
And I think this is more story first than it is music second, but or music first, I should say. I will go on record, though, and say that I think everything that's put together here is just absolutely fantastic. So the way that the story is being told amongst the music is just, it's in perfect harmony, in my opinion.
So where are we at in the story at this point?
Storyline. Here we go. Okay, so Waking Dream, just like you said, it's kind of like the bridge. The immortal is experiencing their slumber, and there's kind of a, I don't know, there's a hazy, like,
shade of winter.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. I don't know what the time frame is between Apex and Abyss, but there's mention, I mean, you hear it mentioned over and over, centuries like flowing streams as years go rushing by. So he could be asleep for centuries here. But yeah, it's just really a simple bridge between Apex and what's about to happen in Abyss. And then we hit Abyss. The immortal is awakened, and he soon realizes that he's not in his mountain anymore. That's where he normally goes back to rest. He wakes up, and there's just nothing there except he's presumably in a ship out in space. And he's seeing all sorts of things he's never seen before. And he's also trying to figure out who summoned him, because the only time that he usually wakes up is when someone basically calls him to come out of his slumber. So he's trying to figure out who summoned him. And then through the stars, this is pretty much the immortal just kind of taking everything in. This ship is going through the galaxy to whoever summoned him. And he reflects on how he's lived all these years. I mean, he's been around for quite a while, and he's got a lot of regrets, too, because he's taken so many lives. And he also struggles with the want of being able to live a good life and be the man he's meant to be. So it's kind of like a reflection track. And then, there's the mystery of who called the immortal, Mark. Well, I think we're going to find out pretty soon.
All right. The next three tracks are Legacy, Return to Me, and Soulbound. Alrighty. So here we go. Another 3-song medley for you, starting with Legacy. Okay, those first two there, Legacy and Return to Me, Holy Dragon Force, Batman.
Yeah, you can feel a little bit of that influence, and oh man, the next track actually is get ready for some more Dragon Force. I think it really melts your face, I guess is the best way to put it.
I like those. I liked all three of those, especially Return to Me and Soulbound. That was some heavy shit. The drumming in this is absolutely phenomenal.
Dude, I got to give Brittany Slays, the vocalist, my highest regards in what she is able to pull off in this album, what she's able to just do by herself. She is an amazing vocalist. I mean, some of the most powerful stuff I've heard in quite a while. Yeah, in the band, it's funny because the band has to try and at least keep up with her because, in my opinion, she's definitely the diamond that shines out of this, this gold wedding set. I don't know, but it's just amazing to me that they can do what they do with her in the front. You know what I'm saying? This could fall flat on its face. She could be an amazing.
This doesn't feel like Nightwish with when Tarja was in the band. Where
yes.
It was like, Tarja and the backup band. This feels more meshed together.
Absolutely. Okay, you want to go to the story?
Yeah, hit it.
All right, here we go. All right, so Legacy. Now, Mark, there's been a few times that I've felt some genuine emotion when I hear a track. All right. Legacy is one of them. All right. So what we get here is we find out who summoned the Immortal. And it's the grandson of the matriarch. It's the son of the man that he befriended in Apex. And the grandson explains that it took him a while to forgive the Immortal for taking his dad to be killed. But he has learned, and as he learned to forgive him, Destiny gave him the means to summon the Immortal and take the matriarch's weapon away from her, and now he intends to use her own weapon against her to try and bring her to the light. The grandson also promises to free the Immortal, and that this will be the last time he will be in anyone's servitude. So it's a very powerful track where, the emotion kind of pays off from Apex when he I think it was Earth and Ash is the name of that song. But man, it got me. It got me. And then Return to Me is basically all about the matriarch finding out that the immortal has been arisen by her grandson, and she is pissed.
Yeah, that definitely comes through in the song.
Yeah, so she finds out the immortal's been awakened by her grandson, and at this point in time, she's become very powerful. So, like I said, the ritual that she did in Apex made her immortal. So if centuries passed by, time feels weird here. I don't know. But she's really powerful, and this song is all about how she wants the immortal back and that she plans on going after him and the grandson both. And when she finds them, it will be her finest hour as she defeats them. And then Soulbound, this is where we find out about the other three sons. Even though killed by their mother, they're still in some twisted way the servants of the matriarch, and they have found the grandson and the immortal. And when they face the immortal, he uses whatever power he has to try and pull them out of the matriarch's grasp. So they're able to find him, and they kind of battle him, battle the immortal. So it's the three sons versus the immortal in Soulbound, and that's kind of where we leave it.
All right. Well, this is our final medley of the night. We have Faster Than Light, The Wind That Shapes the Land, Carry the Flame, and then Afterlife. So, and I know, short show tonight, everybody, but I'm not going to make a long show. So, here we go, Faster Than Light. All right. Well, that wraps that up. Faster Than Light. Yeah, that's a face melter. I like The Wind That Shapes the Land, and I was trying to think, like, what does this remind me of? I mean, if Avantasia was good. Their last couple haven't
Poor
been
Avantasia.
Their last couple have not been as
every
good
once
as
in
I
a while.
want them to be.
I know, man. They show up on my queue, on my freaking Spotify queue every once in a while, and I'm just like, I like one song.
Yeah, that Wind That Shapes the Land took me back to the original Avantasia albums. So that was good shit. Carry the Flame was pretty awesome. And Afterlife is 7 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Yeah. Well, it's the credits, man. So here we go. Faster Than Light. All right. The matriarch, Evil Queen, has caught up with them, and we have this great space chase. All right. Not Space Ace, but Space Chase. She's unleashing her full might at them, and as the grandson and the Immortal try to escape, until finally the Immortal grows tired of running, and by the end of the song, he feels he can make his stand against her. And The Wind That Shapes the Land is the confrontation. There's no way I can do this song justice to just kind of explain how much emotion just pours out of this climax. The Immortal makes a stand against the Matriarch and understands that this may be his final battle. It's a great frenzied fight as the Matriarch is crushing mountains and creating gale force winds and tossing boulders at him. But the Immortal is able to find the strength to overcome her will and defeats her, killing her. Carry the Flame. This is a rough one right here, because at the end of the climactic battle, I almost said dramatic, and it was dramatic. At the end of the climactic battle during The Wind That Shapes the Land, the Immortal finds that the grandson, I believe it's the grandson, suffered a fatal injury and is dying. In his last words, he assures the Immortal that he has been set free, and he pleads with the Immortal for him to carry the flame of hope to those who have none. Even though he is immensely powerful, the Immortal still has doubts about the man he is, and if he is strong enough to even do that. But even though the Immortal will at times feel lost, the grandson is there in spirit to help him find his way. So that's where the Carry the Flame comes in. And Afterlife, it was so funny because I ended up becoming a member of the Unleash the Archers fan group, shortly before the album released. And somebody had listed on there, like, oh my goodness, I was crying at Afterlife, and I hadn't even seen the track list yet. And I'm like, oh, great. It was weird because there were spoilers involved, and I hadn't even listed anything. But that's not what happens. The Immortal does not die, which I thought was probably the undoubted end for the Immortal somehow. But he is the Immortal. So now free, the powerful Immortal struggles with what to do next. Even though the words of the grandson remain with him, there's a bit of a war going on inside his head. You can hear that with the harsh vocals and fighting kind of with the clean. It's kind of fighting on what he should do with his freedom. One of the things that's brought up is about how the Immortal can go gain vengeance on somebody. As to who or what that is, I don't know. It's kind of like a bit of a mystery. But he's reminded, to do better with his life. So that's it, man. That's the story of the Immortal. We've had 2 albums, Apex and Abyss. You got any final thoughts?
Just sitting here listening to it from a musical standpoint, it definitely changes my opinion hearing you tell the story and like listening in, like, oh, okay, I'm getting bits of the story now as I listen to it more closely, as opposed to having it as background music. Mm-hmm. Musically, I mean, it's solid. Like I said, there were some Dragon Force elements to it. The telling of the story reminded me of Avantasia, because that's their approach to metal.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I thought this was a good pick. This was a solid album.
Yeah. Well, I would highly advise going back and listening to Apex if you ever get the chance. That a lot of people will tell you, if you're comparing the 2 albums, which I tell you do not do that, but if you're comparing the 2 albums, Apex is probably the one you would gravitate more towards. There's if you're a fan of synth, this has it in spades, which doesn't hurt my feelings any. I can tell you on my first listen to the album, I was like, man, this isn't going as hard as Apex did. And there's a good reason for that. This is going to be lighter fare because it's the conclusion of the story, and it's going to be a somewhat decent ending. Plus, it's kind of all taking place out in space. You're going to have more synthesizer. And in my opinion, man, this is a great conclusion to a story that was written in 2016 by, I think Brittany said that this was written by her, and they had to put it to music. And I think the original concept was to do a 2-disc set, but then things kind of grew from there to where they said, okay, we'll do Apex, and then we'll kind of work our way into Abyss. And great story. I don't know of too many other bands that's done a story told in 2 albums. Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head where a story continued from album to album?
No, you're more on top of that stuff than I am.
Well, I mean, I know some a few concept albums, obviously, but I can't think of anything that's went from album to album. In my opinion, they killed it. This is a great re-listen to it. Like I've listened to it like 10 times, and each time it's grown on me. So,
all right,
I'm excited, man. I'm glad we had the chance to talk about it.
Yep. Sorry if we're cutting it short tonight. I just I'm having a rough night. So, overall, I would give this an A. You can go ahead and put we got "Return to Me" as my track.
Oh, okay. You like "Return to Me"? All right. The Evil Lady. I'm going to take. Man, oh man. I'm going to go with Legacy because I think that's the one that hits me most emotionally. So I'll go with that.
All right. Next week, no Metal Hammer of Doom. Instead, we've got a lot of Bill and Ted and a lot of New Mutants to cover, plus a little bit of the old Payback. So that's going to take all week. We'll be back on the Metal Hammer of Doom. Hey, if you're wondering where the Carcass album went, so am I. No, the new Carcass album got delayed and some things got switched around. So we got Marilyn Manson on the 16th, and then we have the new Fintroll on the 23rd. And then we're into Covers Month, starting September 30th with BPMD American Made. In the meantime, this past week, we did a review of the one and only Ivan. We reviewed SummerSlam and NXT. Next week, like I said, you could go ahead check out our reviews of Bill and Ted Face the Music, New Mutants, the Demon Bear Saga, Bill and Ted Save the Universe, and the first 2 Bill and Ted movies. We'll lay those all out for you Monday through Thursday. Jesse, you don't got nothing to talk about.
No, I do have a recording scheduled this coming Sunday for my contribution to From Claremont to Claremont, our Chris Sheehan vehicle. He is going to be recording my Excalibur contribution, so that will probably be showing up, I would imagine. I mean, shoot, those episodes are usually 12 hours. Not my contribution. The episode itself is about 12 hours, so I'm sure he's going to be editing that up. You'll probably be hearing that here in about a month or so. But that is about it, man.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the Metal Hammer of Doom. Be well, be safe, and behave.